The longtime play-by-play voice of the Jets is Bob Wischusen. Longtime friend of ours.
Yes, I love the man.
You love him. I don't know if I love him, but I do like him.
I'm not afraid to say it.
Bob, Don loves you. I like you. Peter has no opinion. How you doing?
What? I'm a fan.
So fan, love, like. That's what you got on this show.
You know, that's fine. Cuddle, hug, marry, whatever. I'm very, very happy that our relationship continues. Let's just put it that way. This makes me happy.
All right, so on ESPN Bet just now, the Jets moved ahead of the Bills as the favorite to win the AFC East. Mike Clay put together a list of all the NFL teams in order, and he has a prediction of the Jets beating the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Do you believe the team is that good, Bob?
The roster is that good. I really believe that. Now, will Hassan Reddick at some point join them and contribute? I think that probably has at least something to do with the speculation. But, yeah, I mean, I think top to bottom, I think the roster is that good. Is the quarterback going to stay healthy?
That's the question.
That's what it comes down to. That's it. If the quarterback stays healthy, then yes, they absolutely are that good, and they absolutely can achieve anything. But this is a quarterback league, and we saw what happened last year when the quarterback got hurt. So they just have to keep him on his feet. He looks great. The practices that I've been to, I was at the Giant-Jet joint practice. I've been out there other times as well. I mean, I'm telling you, he looks fantastic. He looks every bit as mobile and, athletic as you would want him to look. He looks like he's ready to go. But again, you just have to make sure that that's the way he stays. And if he stays that way, then yes, I think the rest of the roster is absolutely good enough to go out there and beat anybody.
And I argue with Peter about this because I think it's an easy way to bet. Well, it's the Jets, and he's going to be 41 in December, so bet on something bad happening. But you just mentioned his camp. Look at last year's camp. I know he went down. I don't believe it was because he was 39 years old that his Achilles went. I guess we can debate that conversation. I don't think it had anything to do with how old he was. But other than that, I mean, he has shown you no indication that he has lost anything. He has had 2 good camps, and I don't. Other than the fact he's going to be 41, which I guess is a thing, and it's the Jets, so bet something negative. I think really everything points to him being outstanding.
Yeah, that's kind of a 2 sides to the coin argument, Don. Like, an Achilles injury is an older athlete's injury. There is a wear and tear element to that injury, so age has something to do with that. But also an Achilles injury a lot of times happens because of bad luck, right? Like that was a weird play.
Right.
And it was a weird way that his leg got caught under Floyd. And so, yeah, so there's kind of 2 sides to that. Would he have torn his Achilles if the exact same play had happened to him when he was 31 instead, or 29 instead of, 40? I don't know. I mean, who knows? Probably not. But I'm not a doctor, and that's pure speculation.
Now,
but he looks great. I mean, that's all I'll say. All I can go on is what I'm looking at him when I'm watching him in practice right now, and right now he does not look like he's 41, and his arm looks like he's 30. I mean, he is no-looking and zinging it everywhere. And, I mean, they've got all-pro level corners that he is throwing it past their ear at practice the way he always has.
The one thing that I'm not as concerned about, people seem to think he's got to stay healthy and he's got to get back to MVP level. But I think, probably the strength of the Jets is their defense, Bob. I say if he stays healthy and gives them the year that he gave them in his final year in Green Bay, that's good enough. I don't think he has to be great. Do you think he has to be great?
To win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like who won the Super Bowl last year? And they have a great defense. Like, the Chiefs have a really, really good defense. Maybe it's not as good as the Jet defense, but their defense is good. Patrick Mahomes is, the best player in the league, and he made everybody around him amazing. Like, I do think to win the Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers needs to play at an incredibly high level. I don't think he can be, an above-average quarterback. I think he needs to be a star quarterback, but I think he can be that. But do I think that they can be a team that can win their division, win a game in the playoffs, be a wild card team, something like that, if he's just, has for him an above-average year? I mean, remember, an above-average year for Aaron Rodgers, statistically, is the best year that any Jet quarterback has ever had, and it's not close. Right? Like, look at the numbers. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick's the only Jet quarterback that's ever thrown for more than 30 touchdowns. But, Aaron Rodgers, on an off year, throws for 3,400 yards. Jet quarterbacks have never thrown for that. On an average year, he throws for 34, 35 touchdowns. Jet quarterbacks have never done that. So, maybe he'll have a 40-touchdown season. He certainly has the weapons, if they stay healthy and they protect him, to do that. And if he does that, I mean, there really is no stopping them because their defense is that good. But I do think, look at last year's playoffs, right? We talked about, and they got criticized because they didn't have a backup plan that people thought was good enough. There's no backup plan for what happened to them last year, right? And even when you got to the playoffs, people pointed to Flacco as the example of, see, you can do it with a backup quarterback. Well, first of all, the Browns went 5-1 with Deshaun Watson. So the jumping-off point was their backup quarterbacks were handed 5 wins. The Jets got 4 plays. The backup quarterbacks for the Browns had 5 wins. Right, so that's a pretty good foundation. Maybe the Jets would have had a different year if Zach Wilson had 5 wins in his pocket. When he came in to start, he didn't. But they also went through 2 other quarterbacks on their roster that were so god-awful that they sat around with 6 games to go and said, oh, my God, we have no one on our roster that can play. Is there a breathing human being out there that can play this position? And we can go, what, Joe Flacco's available? All right. Let's throw that up against the wall and see if it sticks. And they brought him in, and he went on some magic carpet ride, and they won some games at the end of the year, and he became the story of the season. And then what happened? They made the playoffs. Their game was a blowout by halftime, and by the time we got to the second round of the playoffs, the only thing that was left was teams with star quarterbacks that were healthy. Mm-hmm. So, that's the way it looks. I mean, there are a couple of backup quarterbacks that kind of become, fun stories during the year, but the truth really is, if you don't have a star quarterback that's healthy, you're not going deep in the playoffs. You're probably not even making the playoffs, no matter how good your defense is, no matter how good the supporting cast is. That's just the reality of the league, and that's why they had to go get this guy, and that's why they went and got Morgan Moses. That's why they went and got Tyron Smith. That's why they went and that's why they shored up the offensive line, and that's why they drafted the kid from Penn State to be an insurance policy on the offensive line in case one of those guys got hurt, because they know at all costs they have to try to make sure that Aaron Rodgers gets through the season.
Will you almost have a certain level of nervousness, like holding your breath, Bob, that this thing goes well and you finally get to call this season? I mean, how big a letdown would it be if, God forbid, it happens again and we never get this Aaron Rodgers experiment? Can you even handle another year of that?
Why? I mean, why? Why do you have to? Why would you go there?
Sorry.
Yeah, why?
Well, because I'm a human being. Because I'm a human being, and these are the thoughts that exist.
That's not nice.
I know.
Yeah, but this. We haven't even played a game yet, and already you've gone to the not nice place. That's not nice.
I know. And by the way,
This is the first appearance.
I'm hoping in my heart of hearts. I'm just saying, how much anticipation?
Are you really?
I swear to you, I am. Bob, do you think I really? You know me. I want to get to talk football. If the Giants are going to be pretty putrid.
Prediction? Don, what was his prediction?
He had them as an 8-win team.
Why?
Because I think he gets hurt.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, that's a knife to the heart, and we haven't even started. This is the first of 20 straight weeks we're going to do this.
But think about how satisfying it'll be when I'm wrong. Think about how satisfying it'll be.
Yeah, that's you twisting. Come on, that's your.
Are you? But no, seriously though,
a bad guy.
But seriously, Bob, are you you have to be incredibly excited? Let me put it that way. At the prospect of getting to call this guy.
I will be very relieved when he's on the field on Monday night for play 5.
Right,
and every play past that, yes. Let's get to play 5. Let's get to a completed pass. Let's finish a drive. Let's get a ball in the end zone. Let's get through a game. Yes. I mean, I think there's that cliche that athletes use and we make fun of it, like take every game, one game at a time. I think Jet fans are going to use that cliche this year. It really is one game at a time, and just keep getting Aaron Rodgers through these games healthy, protected, win a game. If they are winning out of games in the fourth quarter, Tyrod Taylor, go on in and finish the game. And that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Protect him and just realize you've got a war to win about each battle. And so I have no problem with that, with them approaching it that way if they do. But yes, there's no question. Of course, and every team holds their breath every time that their star quarterback gets hit and goes down in a funky way, because it's just, we call it the ultimate team game, and yes, there's 53 guys on the roster and a 15-guy practice squad, and we always say if one guy is one step off, the other 10 guys are all automatically wrong, and you all have to be in the foxhole together. What's the reality? The reality is the entire team really does revolve around that position and the health of that position. And no organization knows that more than the Jets, because, they have been searching so long for a solution at that position, and they know how good this guy is and what happened to them last year when he got hurt. And they now are looking at him, even in these joint practices against other rosters, and just seeing how good they look when he is out there doing his thing. And they've added these weapons and this protection around them. I mean, the sky's the limit for them. I think it really is, if they can just keep them protected and healthy.
There's also one variable or unknown, whichever you'd like to call it. Could you tell over these years, is Robert Saleh a good coach? Is he good enough to coach a championship team? Do we know that, Bob?
I would say, in my opinion, yes. The things that I would search for to back that up are the number. Like, he had a team last season, just for starters, that was competitive in almost every game, with not just bad, but like statistically, historically bad quarterback play. And they won 7 games in a year that everybody described as like a dumpster fire. They didn't have the first pick in the draft last year. They had the 10th pick in the draft. There were 9 teams that statistically or record-wise had worse years than they had. And they had a team quarterback rating last year, I think, in the 20s. So how good is this defense? And his DNA is as a defensive coach. And he has found ways to strategically kind of massage their way through games and around that bad quarterback play to keep in games, keep his defense playing, and keep them believing. And you know what? I have been around Jet teams, and Don was around these teams too, where there were fractured locker rooms, where you would walk into the defensive side of the locker room, and there would be guys saying, oh, you want to talk? Go to the other side of the locker room and talk to those guys, because it's their fault. And that easily could have happened in this locker room over the last couple of years, and it never did. So, like, there was some drama, and, Diana Rossini had that piece, and look, I mean, there was, I know there was some soap opera moments. There always are with New York teams, but this team never stopped fighting every single minute of every single game all the way through the finale and won their last game. I give him a lot of credit for that, and I don't think any coach can be accurately judged until he is given a quarterback that can play. And this year he's got the ultimate quarterback that can play. And if that guy stays healthy this year, I think Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas and all the rest are going to completely flip the script in terms of anybody that has a negative opinion of them.
Now, you called an amazing game with the BC victory, and you're a pro. There's no question. But how did it feel to call that and be an alum of Boston College?
Well, I mean, it's funny. We were talking to Bill O'Brien the other day. I didn't even realize this. It's been 15 years since BC has won 8 games. So it's kind of like the Jets. Like, it's been a long time since they've even been, like, respectable. So, yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun to see them play as well as they did.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
For a touchdown to make the game good. But yeah, they played great. So, yeah, it was nice to see. Nice when your school has a program that you can root for.
Is that a shot at any of the three of us? You don't like Fordham, Maryland, or Ramapo? Is that what you're saying?
Well, Ramapo gave up on their football program years ago.
I was going to say, does Ramapo have a team?
I mean, I'm still proud of my diploma, Bob.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Look where it's gotten.
That's exactly right.
We're all in the same space right now, right? Fordham, Maryland, Boston College, Ramapo. We're all sharing the same air.
Terps with a big 43-point win over the weekend, though. You know what I mean? Quality.
There you go.
And I just got listen. I don't want to go there, but as a Jersey guy, as a hockey guy, as a BC guy, that was Thursday was tough with the Gaudreau brothers, right?
Oh. We did a little, tribute to the Gaudreau brothers last night, and I almost didn't get through it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if people heard it on the air or if they could tell that I gagged for a second and had to gather myself. Like Johnny Gaudreau, if anybody ever met him, and I only met him a couple times. I've only been doing hockey now for 3 seasons, so it's not like I've lived it for the decade plus that he's been in the league, and really, really got to know him. You only had to meet him a couple of times to realize how genuinely nice a person that he was. And then you see, the Instagram posts of his wife with the 2 little kids, and then realize his younger brother, his wife is pregnant with their first now, and this happened. So it's just an unimaginably sad story. And, hopefully that whole family realizes that we are all just trying to kind of collectively wrap our arms around them, because it's, the whole hockey world, and then the BC athletic world, obviously, and the New Jersey hockey and athletic world were all just devastated by this.
Well, next Monday, Bob, you'll be back in the booth for the Jets opener against the 49ers.
Yay!
And I got to be honest, I will never listen to you this year because you're not on our station, but I know you'll do great work.
I'm going to listen because I have DirecTV, so that might be the only way I can consume the game on Monday.
Wait, real quick, by the way, you guys were really, really nice to have Marty on and say all those nice things about him when you had him on.
Well, it was easy.
That was really, really nice, because with his foundation and everything, and to give that a pop, too, because he does amazing work with that, so that was awesome.
Well, have a great, great year, Bob. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Bob.
I'll talk to you guys next week.
All right,
Thank
sounds
you, Bob.
good. Is it wrong for me not to listen now that they're not on our station?
It's aggressive.
Well, you know me. I'm aggressive, Peter.
But how are you going to consume if you're in the car coming back from a Yankee game? Don't cut off your nose to spite your face. You gotta do what you gotta do. And I know they're no longer on our air, but
hurts.
We have a relationship with Bob and Greg and Dan, and we know Anthony Beck. He's going to do a good job.
Yep.
I think you're a bad guy.
I'm a very, very small person. I think you know that.
Between this and Joey, it's been a difficult hour and 40 minutes for you.
I'm sure I put you through the things I do.
No, you don't put me through it. I'm just saying.
Everybody.
It's no
the people close to you.
No, I just don't want people thinking you're a bad guy.
I'm not a good guy. I'm not.
Why do you want people to not think the truth?
Yeah, it's the truth. Peter knows.
Yeah.
So you think it's on the table that Michael's a bad guy?
Listen, it's all truth is in the eye of the beholder. It depends what you mean by bad, but the things that he's making you feel, those are things that he is.
Well put.